Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Hopefully, everybody had a wonderful weekend. I am going to mention how I plan to grow $500 into $3,600, possibly a little more in 5 weeks. Now, let's just get right into it, okay? Because everybody wants to grow their account. That's what's going to help you the most. So, the first thing you're going to do is come up with a strategy. You don't just say, I've got $1,000. I want to grow it to $10,000. That's it. That's the goal. 1,000, 10,000, 500 to 5,000. No, you've got to come up with a game plan. You're not looking for those home runs. You're looking for base hits. I did the math. I love math. I love numbers. I can't always show patience. So that's what I'm going to work on doing for this trading challenge. Now, here's the catch. If I grow my account, I don't know, 50% a week. Now, you might say 50% a week. That is insane. But we all have trades that return 500%, 100%, 20%, 25%. So, me, I'm not throwing the full account, and I'll explain what I plan to do with my $500 and where you could follow it. Okay. But my first $500, what I want to do, I always want to save at least half of my money on the side. So of my $500, I'm going to plan to use $250 on my first trade. Okay. That doesn't mean I find an option that costs $250 and I buy that option. I first come up with a strategy. And the strategy could be something like, and I'll share my screen because there are two ways to look at it. Okay. So I've got the SPY up. Now, if you guys are looking at the SPY, which is basically the S&P 500 or the market, right now, pre-market, we're a little up. Well, let's see how red we were Wednesday. Thursday was okay. And then Friday, right? Extremely red. Let's look where we have a gap to fill. Okay. So there was a gap to fill right in this range when we gapped up from 445 to 448. Okay. We kind of filled that, didn't we? Didn't we touch 445? Great. Have we touched 442? No, I don't think so. So my point is we still have this gap to fill. So the bear case scenario is we're going to touch 442. I don't care if futures are ripping. We saw what happened in the later end of last week. Wednesday down, Friday down. US was downgraded. Okay. You hear institutions saying, yeah, we don't care. Yellen says we don't care. Biden says it was wrong. Doesn't matter. The facts are the facts. Some people think the market is too frothy. Doesn't matter. If the market's going to push higher, and I'm going to show you guys the net flows shortly. So that's your bull case scenario will be when I show you the net flows. However, your bear case scenario is we still have a gap to fill. All right. Volume was pretty substantial right in this range. On August 2nd, we gapped down to strong volume. We've seen a little consolidation, and then we boom, gap down again, credit rating lowered. So I think we could potentially fill that gap to a 442. So that's your bear case scenario because we're 446. That's 1% down. It'll happen Monday or Tuesday if the bears win out. Now, if we go, and I'll show you my other scenario. Hold on one second. Let's just remove this from the stream. Stop sharing it. Share something else with you all. Here we go. Share. And let's add it to the stream. And then I'm going to talk about, again, investing challenge, how to grow your account. But you have to understand or have a theory on the market first. So what did I do? I checked out the 3-day net flow for the entire market. So red are the premiums for puts, green are the premiums for calls, and white is the pricing of the entire market. So what are you looking at? Or you're looking at the SPY. So you're looking at costs for puts up here. They haven't given up on puts. They came close, okay? Came close. And once people invested in calls, right, what did the market do? It dropped. Puts are still high. In fact, at their highest point. Yes, people are like, buy the dip because that mentality works. So there's your bull case mentality is, okay, buy the dip. Shit, we're dipping hard. However, puts have not given up. In fact, they've got stronger as far as your market flow. When we look at the SPY flow, and I can blow this up for you again, this is telling me buy the dip. It's telling me buy the dip. Put premiums just keep going up. The market keeps going up. When we saw the market tank, did they give up on calls? No, they went back to calls. Did they sell all their puts and have puts down here taking your profit? No, they're still sticking with their puts. Again, so that is why I'm giving you two scenarios of how the market could play out. Because if you saw the first scenario, which was the SPY chart dating back to July 23rd, I show you we still have a gap down at 442, and we're pretty close there. And you had Wednesday and Friday as a sell-off. So psychologically, even if you see Monday mornings gapping up, if I have a lot of stocks that I want to sell on this market, I'm an institution, I'm a hedge fund, I'm a big bank, what am I going to do? Futures are riding up. I'm going to let futures ride up. I'm going to let the market open. Buy, 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 buy. Once the market hits the top and I see some type of rejection or reversal, I'm going to sell into that. I'm going to be one of the first people to clear out my positions Now, of course, that can be consolidation and the market could go higher, which is the buy the dip mentality, or we can drop back down, which we've seen again Wednesday. I thought we saw it Thursday. I think we saw it Friday again. The market also opened up strong, right? Market opened up strong, and then we saw a drop. So that gave you time to get into your bearish positions. Okay, with that said, let's get into what I plan to do with this account. So $500, I want to grow it not to $5,000, but I came up with a number of $3,600. So $500 to $3,600. How am I going to do that? 50% per week, 5 weeks. So 500 becomes 750, 750, 11 and a quarter, 11 and a quarter, about 1,700, 1,700, 25 and change, all the way up to about 3,700. Okay, that's 5 weeks. That's not necessarily 5 trades. That's not me going all in on every trade, right? Because I'm looking to grow from Monday to Friday, $250 on the account. It's 500. I want it to be 750 by the week's end, okay? People that go, I want to grow my account from 500 to 5,000. Yes, you could do it, but if you don't have a game plan in place, step by step process, you're basically putting yourself out there to risk. I'm just going to throw $500 into Netflix calls and hopefully Netflix goes up and I can retire with $5,000. That's not how we do it. We make small trades. So again, for me, $500, half my account is going to sit on the sidelines today. If I use half of my account, it's going to be $250. It's not going to be, oh, let me find an option that I can afford. Here's one for $250 on Netflix that I wanted to go into. So I'll buy one Netflix call and cross my fingers that I got on the right time. No, I'm going to go out to an extra week. If I have to go further out of the money to find a less expensive option, that's fine. Because if Netflix gets that 4-point move, and I'm just using Netflix as an example, okay, gets that 4-point move, then my option will go up, 20%, something like that. We could always secure profit. Okay, so how am I going to find my plays for the week? How am I going to look at what I want to see? Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to go on Discord. I'm going to make it a little bigger than that. Okay, so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Let me just go over to Discord because I'll show you the homework that I did over the weekend. Flows and algos, same room, right? I looked at a couple different option plays. One of them was Ford. Now, what do I see with Ford? Okay, so I put Ford on there because I saw strong support in the market when Ford was $13.06, $13.10. I think we're under that. So first, my strategy would be like the market's not going to rip lower. In fact, futures are going to be good and the market's going to be somewhat stable this week. But Ford looks like shit if you look at the chart. However, I saw strong support last week at 1306, 1310, 1304. The fact that we're at 1289 tells me if I'm correct, and Ford's had 3 out of the last 5 days inflow. So if today's another inflow day, then I look at the net premiums for the stock, right? So I see puts are finally selling off a little. Puts are taking a little profit. Calls are increasing minorly. It's still extremely negative flow. However, I'm looking for this to turn around. What would tell me this turns around? If I see puts drop off the face. So I add Ford to my watch list. I'm looking for Ford puts to be sold, calls to be bought. It would be nice to see the price steadily make its way up, maybe 1287, something like that. If I see 1287 or 1290 even, and calls are up here at $13 and puts are back down here at 1292, then I'm going to say once they cross over, I can get involved with Ford. Okay, so then I'm looking at, let's just go down again. I want to look at the net flow, the 5-day net flow. So again, what am I seeing on the 5-day net flow? Okay, Ford's price was up here at $13.40. I told you I saw support right here at 1304, 1310, went all the way up to 1340. That'd be a great exit. In fact, if I get into Ford at $12.80, let's say it goes down a little and I finally grab a position, my exit strategy would be to exit right around here, 1330 to 1340. So what am I seeing? I'm seeing the premiums for calls go up here. The premiums for puts all of a sudden drop. Again, if I see premiums continue down to this level for puts, right where my cursor is, and calls remain up high, I'm going to say that's extremely bullish. Again, although Ford chart looks terrible, and if you look at the monthly chart, the 5-day chart, it looks terrible, but I'm looking for Ford to turn around. Again, if the market throws up on itself, then Ford's probably going to drop another dollar to 1280, 1290, 1180, 1190. However, I'm thinking Ford can hit that 1340 number. That would be a successful trade. So what else did I look at? Well, I mentioned, and here are the algorithms. Here's the algo for Ford again. Yellow is the price, okay? Red is the algorithm. So they usually stay in line. And when you see the algorithm up here and the price down here, it's bullish divergence. They usually meet up. So you'll see the lines cross here, 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 here. They crossed here, they crossed here, they crossed here. So again, if the algorithm goes up and tells me it should be a 1320 stock and the price stays down here, that would be a great time to get involved with Ford. Now I looked at another one as well. Okay, here's your flow sum. Okay, so the flow sum, it's telling me, are these buys or sells? Okay, so first I see 94,000, 60,000. So it's a 3-to-2 ratio on calls versus puts. Now I want to make sure that people are buying the calls, because if it's a 90-to-10 ratio for calls, but everybody's selling you the calls, those are the institutions telling you the stock price is going to stay down, and we're selling you a shitload of worthless calls. So again, hopefully you guys understand how to use the flow sum. So the flow sum here is telling me 3-to-2 calls versus puts, buys versus sells. You're probably about what, 73% to 27%. A lot of them, or most of them, are out of the money. Okay, and the call put ratio is somewhat a little 3-to-2, like we said. So again, that would tell me I could be a little bullish. I also did the same for Qualcomm, because I noticed Qualcomm chart, and I'll show you Qualcomm. And this is where it can get a little tricky. So let me just bring it up on my phone. Here's the 1 month of Qualcomm. So what do you see? Inflow, 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 inflow. Right after earnings dip, they're still buying. There's no outflow. I looked at the institutions. So institutions own about 84% of this. Insiders own about 14%. There's not much left for retail traders. However, when I look at the algorithms, the net flow for Qualcomm, right? Stock dropped down. It looks like it's rebounding, which I just showed you guys. It just dropped after earnings. Looks like it's rebounding. But as you can see, the puts haven't given up and the calls haven't increased. With a chart like this, I thought calls would be ripping. So I said to myself, okay, they haven't given up on puts. They're not getting into calls. It still looks bearish, even though they're recovering. And then I look at the algo flow. Okay, the algo flow stock price, right up here, versus where the algorithm thinks the price should be. What do they usually do? They usually cross over, cross. So even though Qualcomm looks bullish, right, price is all the way up here, either the algo has to pop up and meet the price somewhere up here, maybe a day out, maybe 2 days out, or the stock price has to come meet the algorithm down there at 119, which would be $2 lower. So give me a bad day, give me an outflow day on Qualcomm, and Qualcomm's going to rip lower. Okay. So then I say to myself, okay, well, what about the flow sum? Let's see, are they buying or selling? Okay. So calls versus puts, calls about 3/4, 65,000. So it's again a 3-to-2 ratio. Are they buying it? Yes, they are buying it, even though this looks pretty negative. So I can say Qualcomm could go either way. I could definitely see it pushing higher on a green day or dropping significantly on a red day, which tells me it could be a perfect trade for me today. Why? Because let's say the market gets wrecked in the morning and Qualcomm drops, and I already know that they're in demand here, then I can go into some Qualcomm calls for the turnaround trade. All right. Vice versa. Qualcomm rips higher, finally rejects. I don't know, it was rejecting 122 the other day. That was the exact high. That's what I mentioned to Discord. I would have to see where it rejects. I mean, it could pop all the way back up to the earnings number. I don't think so, but I might say like 124. I would have to then look at the dark pool level. But if something's in question, if a trade is in question, then you don't want to trade it. Okay. Let's see what kind of questions we have. Yes, sir. What's my take on Square and PayPal? I actually entered a PayPal trade on Friday that I'm a little red on. And actually, I wanted to exit out on Friday, but I was like, okay, maybe I'll get a Monday pop, Monday morning. So PayPal is triple the amount, but it's worth triple the amount 6 years ago. Okay, I don't know what post you're talking about, but let's talk about the PayPal algorithms, okay? Because I was looking at that. So let me just see if I can add that, and we'll get rid of this real quick, and we'll look at PayPal real quick. And if you guys want me to look at any stocks, please mention them. I don't have anything I'm tied to trading. I'm going to talk about a few stocks in a moment that I'm looking at this week and why I'm looking at them. But again, if you have questions or, comments, please make them. All right. So TR net flow, TR. Oh, I guess he's doing it as well. Net flow, PayPal. Let's go to the 5-day flow, net flow, and all right, so here's my 5-day flow of PayPal. Again, I was bullish PayPal. I did see the calls drop off a little, but what I've noticed is puts now have dropped off a little as well. So now I'm going to say, okay, that's so bad. Maybe I can hang on to my position. I'm going to look at 3-day net flow as well. And then I'm going to look at the dark pool. So we haven't done that in a while. Let's look at the dark pool levels for PayPal. All right, so the net flow, here's your 3-day flow. Again, the price and the premiums for puts are down here. Calls are rising up. I would like to see calls get to that net premium flat level. Again, when a stock drops after earnings, it sometimes takes a few days to work its way out. So although I am bullish PayPal, I guess, right, based on these charts and these algorithms and this data, it could take a few days to move. So if that is the case, rather than going out to this Friday, give yourself more than enough time to be right. Go out 3 weeks. Go out, 3 weeks seems like it should be a good time. All right, so let me see what other stocks I wanted to discuss this morning. All right, so here's one, SMCI, super micro computing. It's an AI play. It's like NVIDIA. It's like a Micron. But here's the thing. You look at the 3-month chart, where are we at? We're at a high. So as long as the market starts to fade higher or doesn't throw up on itself, understand institutions, I believe, own 84% of this. Insiders, I think 14%. So in order for this stock to go down, institutions or insiders have to sell. The stock's at an all-time high. I used to do research on stocks that hit all-time high. 4 to 8 weeks hit. 4 to 8 weeks later, they're at an even higher point. So if we were looking at the flows on this one, SMCI, all right, it's an expensive stock. It went from 123 in May all the way up to 338. So those that didn't know that. So let's look at the net flow. It's probably going to be pretty damn bullish. Net flow for SMCI, again, all-time high. Let's go to 3 days. And let's look at the all right, so what do we see? All right, price is up here. All right, price came down a little. The price actually dropped a little. And what do we see? The calls even spiking even higher. Puts dropped off a bit, even with the price. So people that were in puts were like, okay, I got a bit of a drop. I'm going to get the hell out because this stock is going higher. So yeah, more than likely, this one's going higher. And let me just look at an option play. I mean, if you go out 2 weeks, you're going to be paying a heck of a lot of money. If I go out 4 days, again, you're going to be paying a heck of a lot of money. I mean, these options are $2,000 per option right at the money. So, I mean, that's implying what? A 20-point move and a 6 or 7% move. I mean, it moved 5% on Friday. Wasn't Friday a shitty day in the market? Yes, it was. It moved 5.26% higher. So, I mean, that's a strong stock. Okay, Pfizer. That's a cheaper stock that we can play. Okay, so let me show you net flow for Pfizer. Yeah, I've never played Pfizer. Why? Because it doesn't really move a hell of a lot. If it moves 30 cents, I'm like, holy crap. There's my net flow for Pfizer. Let me look at the flow sum for Pfizer as well. And I'm just wondering, it didn't come up. It came up on Friday when I did the search. So let me see if I can show you guys now. And let's see if I can find it from Friday. Okay, so Pfizer is right here. And here's your net flow for Pfizer, okay? Stock price was up here. No one was buying calls. Stock price was up here, and people weren't saying it's going higher. They weren't buying calls. They weren't necessarily buying puts either. They're staying pretty flat here. But since this level and the price came down under $35 or $35, right? Even dropped below $35 on Friday. What are you seeing? The puts are still going down. People are still selling their puts. What are you seeing on the call level? Right around here, still stock at $35. All of a sudden, they're buying the calls. They're buying the calls. They're buying the calls. When I look at Pfizer, it's at 35.02. So you're getting in at this level, right? Okay, 35 right here. Okay, what's likely to happen? Likely at some point, probably in the next week, because it's a 3-day chart, the stock price will likely cross over. Okay, so if you have the call premium up here, let's just say 35.60, okay, it's likely the stock price will go up to 35.60. Yes, that's a 2% move for Pfizer. But if you look at the options, and we'll just look at the $35, let's look at the $35 calls. $35 calls, they're 41 cents, okay? So if Pfizer is going up, let's say 35.60 crossing over this, that would make those options worth $60 plus the additional time. If they're 40 cents now, and I can sell them for $60, if I'm correct, that's a 50% trade right there, okay? Now, the best thing is, say I wait a day. Say I wait a day and a half, let the market play out, and the market's still stumbling and bumbling around, and maybe we touch that 442 number on the SPY. We touch 442 on the SPY, guess what? Pfizer is going to be 50 cents lower, 35.50. So just because the net flows and the algos tell me I could be bullish Pfizer, if the market takes a shit on itself and fills that gap to 442, I'm going to say to myself, Pfizer is going to be 50 cents lighter, 2 to 3% lighter. That would be a perfect time to get in on Wednesday, okay, hypothetically. Go out the extra week and maybe get the 35.50s or the 35 calls, go out the extra week and look for a trade that way. So I don't have to trade on Monday. Now, where will I be posting my trades? My trades will be posted. I guess we're still looking at Discord because that's where all they're going to go first. Discord. We have a public Discord. This is free. I post here all the time. Okay. You could ask questions. Apple, there's some questions right there. I asked Romy to look at the SOXL, right? Because why? Public chat. The SOXL has inflow, decent volume, and it's dropping. What is that telling me? It's telling me that NVIDIA, AMD, Palantir off earnings, Micron, I just mentioned the super micro computer stock, SMCI, right? All-time highs. What's that? Semiconductor. So semiconductor could pop. It doesn't have to go back to this level of 28, but it could pop back to 26, 26 and a half, 26 flat. I mean, that would be a massive 4-5% move. So this is public trading chat right here. Okay, but again, you have public trading chat, then you have the how-tos for the flow and algos that I've been speaking about. You have all these commands that you can learn how to use them. Oh shit, I type in TR net flow like Matt did, my symbol, which is United Airlines, and the historical number of days. Okay, so you could do that. You type it in this room. So everybody loves to use this room. Okay, then you go down. Where are my trades going to be? Yes. So we have Romeo's section here. Then I have my market updates. But here are my trades. Here are all my trades that I entered into. Okay, I entered into them. All right, I won't go over my trades. This is the challenge again. $500, giving myself 5 weeks, average return 50%. If I make 50% on Monday in one trade, I'm up to 750. Does that mean I'm stopping till next Monday? No, it just means I can show even more patience. Time is on my side. Time is on your side. There's no reason to play 0 days till expiration options. In fact, if you're following my trades and I play any trades on the SPY, I'm always going to give myself a day to be right. Let's say I see the SPY drop down to 442 this morning, find support. I could take like the 444s or the 445 calls for tomorrow, knowing we're likely to get a bounce after we find support. So again, trade strategies, patience, not jumping in. I showed you guys what I was seeing on Pfizer. Again, I post them in Discord under Matt's trades. I'm starting with $500. If I buy a contract for $70, it's going in there. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about until I achieve the goal. The goal is to show you that's a 600x return, 500 to 3,600. Yes, that is my goal. I'm giving myself 5 weeks. I'm not putting extra pressure. I'm not telling myself I've got to return 10% every day, right? What I'm saying is I need a 50% trade this week. That's what I need. Showed you what I'm looking at, okay? So we can look at PayPal on the bullish side. We can look at Pfizer on the bullish side. However, if the market takes a shit on itself, I'm going to look to see where the market has support. How would I do that? Well, okay, I'll show you one more thing on Discord. All right, I lied. I guess I'll go back to Discord. Not my trades. I'm going to go back to the flows and algos. Why? Because I want to know when the SPY might have support. We haven't talked about the dark pool level. So I'll take the dark pool levels for the SPY. And let's figure out where the SPY could have support. So the SPY is sitting at 446.81. It's probably up pre-market closer to 448 and change. So it is. All right, 448 and change. So what are we looking at? Go right here, 448.50. Okay, there's a $9 billion level, 448.50. Then it's about a 1.5 higher, so it's almost 450. So if the SPY gets bought up on open, I'm going to look for it to reject 450. And if it breaks past 450, I'm going to look at 451.40. Again, you can either be a buy the dip kind of person who'd be like, okay, 447. All right. If it goes past that, you have a ghost zone. That's what I was talking about, the ghost zone all the way to 443, 442. So if the market has a tough day today, again, bear case scenario, we might break this ghost zone. If we break this ghost zone, you're going to see 443. Things are going to get really ugly. Okay. Understand. However, if the market gets bought up, what am I looking for? Again, 449.94, next step high. So 450. If we break 450, then I'm looking right at 452, 454 from the other day. I'm not even paying attention to the dark pool levels. I'm going off of what I remember from the other day. So again, pay attention to the levels. Pay attention to the volume. If you want to risk all your money, then buy an option at 9:30 in the morning. Buy an option at 9:40 in the morning. If you want to be a smart investor, then let that shit play out. Let the market tank to 442, then reverse all the way back up. Come up with your strategy. Or let the market shoot up to 450, 452, say, you know what, that massive volume that we saw on Wednesday and Friday can't be all wrong. Let me look at the net flow. Holy shit, they're buying put contracts. Let me buy some put contracts. So even though the market's going up, they're buying put contracts, waiting for the market to drop. Will you do it on YouTube this time? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk about my trades on YouTube. So here's the catch. If you're watching YouTube, I could come out and say like, okay, I entered one trade yesterday. I entered Disney calls. I'm owning 2 Disney calls at so-and-so strike, $89 at $150 is my average. Now that option, when I talk about it tomorrow, could be $130. I could be off 12%. So you say to yourself, okay, Matt's in 2 of these contracts. He's off 12%. I like his strategy. He spoke about why he likes, so-and-so or Disney or whatever it is. So what I could do is I could wait for the dip this morning, not only at $1.30, I'm going to get in at $1.20. I'm going to get in 22% cheaper than Matt. And when it goes to $1.60, I'm going to get out, whereas he's going to try and hold for $2. So you could be in a lot safer position. This is how I used to trade one of my accounts, my larger account. I used to let my shit little account take a massive loss, down 40%. Wait, I really like this position. Then I used to take my larger account and I used to buy 100 contracts at the discounted rate. All right, so will I do it on YouTube? Yes, I'm going to be talking about it on YouTube. Positive results, patience. First thing I'm going to do when I find a position I like is I'm going to add it to my watch list. Then I'm going to watch it. Once I know that option contract bottoms, either it's a put or a call, I don't care. But as I see, I almost paid $1 for it. Now it's bottoming at 79 cents. What am I going to do? Okay, 79 cents is so much better than paying $1, paying 95, paying 80, paying 79. That's right on. I can't tell you how many trades I made last week, probably 6 of them, where I realized like an hour and a half later, shit, this is the absolute bottom. Instead of entering these contracts at $41 a contract, and I think I had like 28 of them, I easily could have grabbed entry at $30. Then when it spiked back up to $40, rather than being, $1 down or 2% down, I would have been 30% up on a decent size order. So again, show patience. All right. So what other stocks do I have on my list? I had Nikola. Why? Because I saw some call options pop on Nikola. However, it's up 9% pre-market. There's no way I'm chasing a penny stock up 9% pre-market. All right. Next. I have coin just because I find it interesting. DraftKings, because they had great earnings on DraftKings. It popped all the way to, I think, 35, 34, 33. It got hammered on Friday down to, $30.36. It's up pre-market. You could see both on DraftKings. So let me show you what I saw on DraftKings. This is pretty interesting as well. I don't only use Discord, okay? You must use other charts as well. So I like to, here's my chart. Okay, so I showed you the 2-hour chart on the SPY. Hopefully you guys are looking at it with me. So let me add it. Okay, here's the 2-hour chart on the SPY. Perfect. So what I'm going to show you is I have my other stocks on this list. So I go to the 2-hour NVIDIA. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking down here for any spikes in volume, either bullish or bearish. I'm not seeing that. Next, DraftKings. Holy shit. What do I see? I haven't seen this much volume on DraftKings for quite some time. They bought it. It gapped up to $30. Then it went up to $34, $35. Remember, they could have sold that gap up right here. So where could DraftKings technically consolidate to? Consolidate to this level right here, maybe $27. So I don't want to be in DraftKings. Although I told you DraftKings looks bullish. All right, I'm going down. Now let's look at the 5-minute chart. 5-minute chart started. Institutions bought at the beginning of the market and the end of the day. That's when I tell you institutions, banks, hedge funds, they buy first 10 minutes, last 10 minutes of the day. So they're buying. Is it any surprise that this is spiking up? What are you seeing? You seeing the same with Uber? Buying beginning of the day? No. So DraftKings looks somewhat bullish. You're looking at Disney. Here's the beginning of the day for Disney on Friday. Here's how it ended. Decent volume. Of course, there's going to be selling because the market was getting trashed. So yeah, Disney looks bullish. DraftKings looks bullish. What about Palantir? They have earnings after the bell today. Well, there was a big purchase during the day. We understand the selling at market open. So I'm really looking for any huge buys. I only see one of them. End of day, light. I still am somewhat bullish Palantir. Looking at the same thing, AMD, which was strong all the way up, even when the market was ripping lower. Again, most people that are in AMD are there to stay for a while. Don't see anything special on Roblox. Not a stock I should trade. In fact, I want to X out Roblox. If I don't want to trade it, shouldn't be on my watch list. Got rid of Bank of America as well. Moderna, haven't traded that one since earnings. Out. United Airlines. Now, what did I see? United Airlines. I saw this morning purchase on Friday morning. Massive purchase while the market was ripping lower. Then United Airlines ripped higher, stayed pretty good. You can't even see where United is this morning because it's trading to 53. However, downward bearish trajectory. If the market throws up, it tells me even though United's ripping this morning, it could go lower. So I'm looking for other types of things. Alibaba, looking at any major inflows going back to the 2-hour chart. Again, they're buying, spiked up to what, $100. So they could probably push Alibaba back up to 100. I'm looking at the 5-minute charts going back to Friday. Again, while the market was selling off, volume was pretty decent. There was a sell-off during the day, but again, the market dropped like shit here, and there was some buying at the end of the day. So yeah, if the market was flat this morning, would I want to get into Alibaba? Yeah, I could get in right here at 96.75. At 97.75, there's no way I would be buying a gap up on Alibaba. Plug, I thought Plug might show some decent return. However, because I saw this buying at the beginning of Friday. However, end of day, there was absolutely zero interest in Plug. So let's go down the 2-hour chart. Just looking at the 2-hour, I'm looking for any spikes. So big volume was followed by the sell-off volume, right? Again, we haven't seen anything. Big sell-off volume, smaller inflow. So again, Plug could pop, but there's nothing telling me it's going to. Starbucks, again, they bought it up that one day. Again, there was an institution, hedge fund, whatever it was. I told you that morning. In fact, that was, a week and a half ago. Market was getting thrown up, and Starbucks popped to 104. And the contracts that I was talking about went for $10 as low as $8, went all the way up to $88, an 1,100% return. I've got Rivian on here just because Rivian is a shorted stock. They could squeeze. It's holding pretty well since that big pop towards the end of July. We were at 2016, then we were at 20, then all of a sudden you were at $24. So that was a bit of a squeeze. You always look for sell-off or consolidation. Haven't seen that, all right, which is good news for Rivian because, someone reports higher. SoFi, again, I don't like the volume here. SoFi, it could go down to 9 before popping to 11. It could pop to 10, drop straight to 9. Apple, what am I seeing end of day? Okay, again, I'm on the 2-hour chart, but if I go to the 5-minute chart and just look at Friday, again, I'm looking for any massive spikes from institutions grabbing that, and they're not. They're waiting 2, 3, 4 days for Apple to play out, okay? Ton of Apple puts got entered into. Looking at a firm, we know a firm likes to move pretty significantly. Now, a firm moves like Upstart. You know what? I've gone way too much. So if you guys want to hear more of this, join me tomorrow morning. If you're on Discord, let's check out my trades. Again, be very quiet today until I find something good. If I see something good, I'll talk about it first. Hey, I just added so-and-so to my watch list. I show you my watch list. I'm going to buy one of these. I'm waiting to be off, for my watch list off 20, 25%. I'm waiting to like the position. And then I say to myself, then I'll play it. I'll enter 1 or 2 contracts. Drops down, have another plan, add 2 more. All right, see everybody later. I will post these on Webull, Twitter. Once I make them, I'll talk about them on YouTube. So please join me tomorrow morning.